Colin, welcome to the podcast. So glad to have you on this podcast. Can you start with introducing yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Houston, for having me. So my name's Collin Castrina. I have been in the social media space and just the entrepreneurship space for 6 or 7 years now and got started with drop shipping. Drop shipping was a failure. And then after drop shipping, I got into things like the normal mom and pop small business digital marketing. From there, I got into really Instagram shout out buying, where I'd buy shout out pages, theme pages, men's fashion pages. That got me interested in general social media marketing and leading me to where I am today, which is working mostly with thought leaders with their podcasts as well as with their general social medias.
Where are you from?
I'm from Charlottesville, Virginia.
How old are you?
I am 23 years old.
Wow, that's impressive. That's a lot of things that you've done already.
Appreciate it.
So what are you working on now?
Right now, I'm looking to work with more thought leaders on growing their podcasts, getting them in the top 10 on iTunes and various ranking services, as well as getting people on podcasts. That's the larger focus right now. And then behind the scenes, working on a home service business that's going to be franchised within the next few years that I will be looking to sell in 5 or 10 years.
You've met a lot of high-value people throughout your journey. People like Russell Brunson, Dawson, and you even had them as clients, right?
Correct, yes.
How did that happen?
So it's being really good at what you do and doing it for a long enough time in which those people can recognize the work that you've done. So if you are someone who's brand new into the space trying to close these massive guys, you're not going to be able to do it because you don't have any credibility nor proof that you're able to do what you say you can do. But if you've been in the space for long enough and you provide enough consistent quality results over a long enough period of time, at some point you're going to be able to be in the position which you can work with the really big guys, such as the Eds, Russells, and people similar to them.
How did you make your first dollar online?
So I did it through, I remember my first brand deal was for $10 and it was on TikTok. That was a couple years ago. My first dollar was probably selling drop shipping chargers. And then I also did some social media consulting and sold shout outs. Years ago. So there's a couple firsts, but one of those.
How to build long-lasting relationship with people, with higher value people?
I wouldn't necessarily call them high value because it's not value in them as a person. It's value on them on a specific metric. It doesn't mean that they're good people. It doesn't mean that they are people of substance. That's a blunt answer, but just money and followers doesn't mean they're actually of high value. All people have the same value. It just depends on the metric that you're looking at. If you're trying to connect with high net worth individuals, the best way to do that is not need their money nor not want their money. So if you are begging them for their money to try to sell them something, they're going to be turned off. So if you're not needing their money or desperate to be connected with them, you're going to be connected with them. It's almost like, desperation pushes people away. You can't be desperate. You have to be abundant and certain in yourself, because if you're, I want to connect, it's going to put everybody off. So you have to be certain in your value. And again, build your name. You have to be a person who is worth respect, a person who is in themselves, someone who has value. Then you can connect with those people. You don't just accidentally connect with high net worth or high follower people. There has to be a value exchange in all relationships.
Yeah, I think everybody has their own definition of a higher value person.
Of course.
What was the biggest mistake you ever made in business?
Oh, there's countless. That's a great question. I would say there's certain times I've undercharged for services. So if you don't properly quote your prices, it can hurt your COGS, which is cost of goods and services. So properly pricing your products and services is super important. Sometimes you'll underbid something that you're looking to do. In doing so, you're not as profitable as you need to be on specific campaigns or projects. So properly quoting your business is very important.
What do you think are the most valuable skills you can have in 2024?
Being a good communicator will always be important since the dawn of time till the end of time. Being able to articulate what you're trying to say, which is what I'm trying to do now. So we'll see how good I am at that, of course. But being able to communicate, being able to go viral is important right now. Obviously, personal brands are extremely important. So whether you're an editor, if you're someone who's new, or you're someone who's good at growing pages, or you're someone who's just good at getting people exposure, taking them viral, you're going to be very well paid. And someone who can do sales is fantastic. That's always going to be needed. I would say the skills that are needed now are the same and have been the same, which is, can you get eyeballs? Can you attract customers? Can you close customers and fulfill customers? Those three things. Just depends on how you do it.
I've seen you have a large following on TikTok. You got 400K, right? Followers.
Yes.
What is the thought process behind your content? How do you come up with all of the ideas of the viral content?
Sure. So there's a great book. It's called Contagious, which is how things spread from just kind of popular to extremely popular. And something that I took away from the book is having oh wow moments. And in the content that I created, I wanted people to say, oh wow, or oh, I never knew this. It had to be a specific moment and them watching that piece of content for them to say, oh wow, because that's what's going to make them share, like, follow, and be tuned in for more content. So if you just make content that's, oh, okay, this is fine, you're going to get the, oh, okay, this is fine, engagement. So you need to create content that gives the, oh, wow factor.
Did you go to college?
I did not go to college.
Did you finish school?
I graduated high school in 2020.
If you had to start from zero right now, just a phone, what would you do to make money?
I would probably become a short form content editor and just be great at it. So you can still use Adobe on your phone. You can still use iMovie on your phone. So I would be a short form content editor. That would be the best way to build skills and do something where you can make a legitimate income every single month, which is short form content editing. Not as an agency, as an actual editor, and then pairing yourself up with someone who is abundant financially and being a part of their team. That's what I would do.
What does the future hold for you? And what do you want to get into for the long term?
Sure. Continuing what I'm doing right now, just going deeper and deeper and deeper, and to be the absolute best that I can possibly be and be known for the best person at booking and growing podcasts, as well as the home service business that I'm working on. Again, it's going to take 5 to 10 years to accomplish what I'm looking to accomplish. I have fantastic partners who've done multiple 8 figures themselves, one with a multiple 8-figure exit. So that's going to be the larger play. Everything else is more so fun, and it's just easy, fantastic cash flow. The big thing is going to be an exit on a home service business.
Are you religious?
Yes, I'm Christian.
Do you have a message to the people that feel stuck in life?
Sure. So it's brilliant that you asked about religion, because anytime I've strayed away from God, the anxieties that I have and carry are far greater than when I'm closer with God, when I can cast my anxieties onto Him, and to have someone who's always with me in my heart, making sure that I'm not alone, that this is okay. Life could be much worse.
You've done a podcast with Jordan Welch, I've seen, and as well with Dan Snow, which is the founder of Rap TV. How did that happen? Like, how did you got these people on your podcast?
So it's having mutual friends and people who are in the same circles. So that gives you the opportunity to ask them to appear on a show or to make something happen. Also, having a large social following was helpful as well. So it was a mixture of those two things.
What's the key to building longevity in business?
Don't over leverage yourself, and do your best to make promises that you can keep. So show up, be a good person, and do your absolute best. Sometimes you will fail, but if you show up and do your absolute best, you'll be okay.
What does a normal day looking like for you right now?
7:30 a.m. Eastern. From then, I will drink water, morning routine, shower, shave, get clean, try to get pretty. And then from there, I will just open up the laptop, get into work, do the most important tasks that require the most brain power. And then I'll get into calls around 11:30, 12, which, for example, right now it's almost 2. And I'll be on another call after this and another call after this. And then I'll eat around 12:30-ish, 1 p.m. And then I'll eat dinner. And then I'll do jujitsu or some sort of physical exercise. And then from there, I'll go to bed. I have the red light panels, the Whoop, the different supplements, the breath work, meditations. So yes, very into biohacking. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. I'm not into things that can kill me. I try to be healthy.
Do you have any regrets in life?
Everyone has regrets. I would say there is difference between regrets and just learning from things. There's things where, I wish I wouldn't have done that, but I'm happy with where I am. So regret might not be the proper word, but it's a great question. It might just be things that, shucks, I wish I didn't do that. Not a true, proper, life-altering mistake.
What is your advice for people that want to get into entrepreneurship?
Ask yourself if you're actually an entrepreneur or if you should just get a job. Most people are not entrepreneurs. You have to be wired differently. You have to just be so freaking competitive, doing whatever it takes to win. A lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people move slower. They're just not cut out to do what it takes to win as an entrepreneur. They should just get a job, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Do you think everybody can be an entrepreneur?
No. I think everyone can try, and everyone can make different sums of money. You can make a couple $100, but to me, if there's different scales of being an entrepreneur. Yes, everyone can make an extra couple $100, even a couple $1,000 a month with a side hustle, which is entrepreneurship, which is great. But to the definition of which most people would think of a huge, big, proper business owner, I would say no, but I don't mean that in any way as an insult. I think it's fantastic for people to be C-level. If you're a COO making a few $100,000 a year, there's nothing wrong with that at all. So it's not everyone's wiring to be an entrepreneur, and that's okay.
What have you seen in common in these successful people that you met?
Wired differently. They move a lot faster. They are far more competitive. They look far more alert. They are people they are just ready to go. They're a hypercar. Most people are not a hypercar, obviously. A lot of people are Toyotas, and that's totally fine. You need Toyotas. But the super high performers, they just move differently, as cliche as that sounds.
Can you give 3 books, the best 3 books that you ever read?
I would say Wealthy Gardener. That's a fantastic book on just a variety of subjects and a way to live life. I would say a tactical book would be something like .com Secrets. And then How to Win Friends and Influence People is a fantastic book. So those three will get you in the right place and give you a variety of different topics and tactics instead of repeating the same thing over. So those 3 things, those 3 books.
Do you travel a lot?
I try not to. I am currently in a season of traveling. Usually I really don't travel. I like to stay at home and very isolated. But right now I'm in New York for the next month, but I try not to travel too much.
What do you think is your mission in life?
It is a fantastic question. So for me, there's charitable goals that I would like to hit that are crucial that I do hit them. So it would be the impact that I leave when it comes to not just making money, because that really doesn't matter too much. There's plenty of wealthy people who do nothing charitable per se. Yes, they provide jobs and such, but to me, it would be the charitable work and the positive good that I can leave in the world, which is very vague, but I don't get too in-depth when it comes to what I donate and how much. But it would definitely be feeding people, for example, is extremely important to me. So I have a goal with how many people I would like to feed.
Collin, thank you so much for being on this podcast. I really, really appreciated your time.